Solo Sikoa just made his debut on Smackdown, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check in on Paul Heyman's return, what Roman is allegedly refusing, and much more. Let's start things off with Solo Sikoa. Solo made his main roster debut in the biggest fashion of saving both Roman Reigns' title reign and legacy. A lot of fans were hoping to see that interaction between Roman and Solo, and how that would play out. But it unfortunately looks like we'll have to wait a few weeks to see Roman and Solo Sikoa together. Roman isn't rumored to appear on SmackDown until late September, so it may be a few weeks for that. But the remaining members of the Bloodline still fully introduced Solo Sikoa. Sami Zayn and the Usos came out to speak a few words, and then bring out Solo Sikoa. Solo spoke on joining the Bloodline before he was interrupted by Drew McIntyre. Drew approached all 4 members of Bloodline with a chair in hand, and everyone cleared the ring, except Solo Sikoa. This was a quick storytelling detail that you probably might have missed upon first glance, but it really does tell you a lot about Solo's character and persona. But Drew comes into the ring, and you can go back and notice how fast the Usos and Sami Zayn scramble out of the ring. But it was Solo Sikoa who just stood there in the middle of the ring, just waiting for Drew McIntyre to come in. So it tells us a lot about how different Solo Sikoa is, even compared to his older brothers. They run out of the ring, while he doesn't move a foot and stays firmly planted for a fight. Now eventually, Solo Sikoa did retreat after a while, but that little moment of not being afraid of Drew McIntyre and then instantly accepting Drew's challenge does let us know that Solo Sikoa is going to be a fighter that doesn't back down easily. And during that entire brawl between Solo Sikoa and Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn did push Solo out of the way and ate a chair shot for him. So that was another small detail that went a long way within the story as well. Solo Sikoa was giving Sami Zayn a bit of the cold shoulder at first, but once Solo saw Sami actually sacrifice himself for him, he warmed up to Sami Zayn and said everything Roman said about him was true. So Roman, Jimmy, and now Solo all seem to be in good terms with Sami Zayn. But it's Jey Uso who's still the most hostile towards Sami Zayn. So the inevitable payoff just has to be a bloodline beatdown on Sami Zayn. But it'll be interesting to see who initiates the beatdown on Sami, since he's on great terms with the majority of the faction. Jey Uso really seems like the only option right now for when it comes to someone who can lead that attack on Sami Zayn. But maybe Solo will have a say in it as well. But it'll be interesting to see how the bloodline continues to function with Roman and Heyman no longer being around all the time. It'll be up to the Usos and Solo Sikoa to make decisions for the family and for their sake. They better hope that Roman Reigns approves of all those decisions. Speaking of the bloodline, there's an update on Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's last WWE programming appearance was at SummerSlam 2022. After taking an F5 from Brock Lesnar through a table, Heyman hasn't been seen since. But it's not like Heyman is on hiatus or a vacation. Reports claim that Heyman has been backstage in recent weeks. However, he's not expected to make just any random return any week now. The reports claim that Heyman will be brought back in a majorly dynamic way, and that's all they say about Paul Heyman's return. So it sounds like what they're saying is that Heyman's return won't just be him walking out with Roman Reigns one random week on SmackDown. It sounds like Heyman will actually have a big return, doing something that's crucial to the plot and storyline. So that's the latest on Paul Heyman's return. Expect him to return with some heavy impact to the story right away. Speaking of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, there's been some new rumors about the face turn for Roman Reigns. Like we went over a few days back, Vince McMahon's plan for Roman Reigns was for him to carry the Universal title into WrestleMania 39. Drop the title shortly after that and turn his act into a babyface persona. But according to these new reports, Roman and Heyman allegedly don't agree with a tribal chief character working as a babyface. The reports claim that Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman want to currently act solely as a heel act, and they're not fully on board with the idea of taking that version of the character and turning it babyface after WrestleMania 39. They allegedly feel like the character works best as a heel, and that's the point that they're trying to get across to the rest of the personnel backstage. If Roman turns babyface and this report is true, then it sounds like face Roman Reigns won't be the same head of the table tribal chief act like we've been seeing since 2020. It may be something new. Some fans even say that they wouldn't mind seeing a reimagined version of the Big Dog version of Roman Reigns. Although the Big Dog version of Roman Reigns was never able to get all of his fans behind him, there's still no denying how impactful and successful that era was for Roman's character. And it's something that the fans have joked about as well. Current day heel Roman Reigns will struggle with the weakest of opponents and need someone to bail him out. But Big Dog Roman Reigns used to walk through guys like John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, and The Undertaker without breaking a sweat. So there's a big comparison and difference there between the two eras of Roman Reigns' character, but it's understandable. The babyface is going to look dominant and courageous most of the time, while the heel usually cheats to win. It's just pro wrestling tradition. So that's why both versions of Roman Reigns are so different, but it'll be interesting to see what Roman Reigns will look like during this rumored 2023 babyface turn. As everyone knows, characters in WWE constantly evolve and change throughout their careers, depending on what happens to them. We usually don't see a superstar revert back to a previous era. Sure, there are some expectations of superstars that did go back to their previous era, like Edge and The Undertaker, but a majority of the time, superstars evolve to new and different eras. So 2023 will mark nearly 3 years for Roman Reigns' tribal chief character. So it'll be up to WWE to figure out a way to evolve Roman's character into something new for that babyface turn, or evolve into something different if they do decide to keep him as a heel. But that seems to be Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman's argument. Maybe WWE thinks that after WrestleMania 39, they'll just keep Roman Reigns' tribal chief character around and just turn it babyface. But it looks like it's Roman and Heyman that are calling it off and saying that it won't work. There's no rush though. This rumored babyface turn for Roman Reigns is still nearly 8 months away. So there's more than enough time for them to continue brainstorming ideas for what direction to take his new babyface persona in. But what are your thoughts on today's stories with the Bloodline members? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.